So we are talking about access specifiers. So we have public, private, protected, and default. So default we don't really need to specify. Like if I write a class like this, class, my class, I'm not writing any access modifier here. Like we can write access modifier here, for example, public. So if we are not writing, then it will be treated as default. Getting my point? So these are four access specifiers which we can use with class declaration or member of a class. Like we want to create some instance variable. Let's say I'm saying int I. Again, you can see I'm not saying any access specifier for this variable, so it will be treated as default. We can write it like this: public, or we can say private, we can say protected. All these access specifiers we can use, and all have their own meaning. Like public is for different purpose, private is for different purpose, and default is for different purpose. When we say, let's discuss the public. For example, I'm writing a class person. I'm taking int age. I'm saying private int age, private string name. There is another class. Let me call it person tester. This is our class. Here we are making main method. Let me write it in short. Assume string array is there, public static psvm is there. Okay, just assume. What I'm saying person p is equals to new person, right? When I say p dot age, it won't be accessible because this is private. Getting my point? One more thing, we are assuming we are in the same package. Let's say the default one. We cannot access it. So private members are visible or accessible within the class only. Getting my point? Yes. All right. Private member of a class can only accessible within that class only. Okay. Now, what if we have public? So when it is public, it is absolutely accessible. We can access p dot age, we can access p dot name. P dot name we can access. Okay, when it is public, so that means any class either in the same package or in different package would be able to access these public members. Getting my point? But for that, for example, this is the class person tester we have in default and the person class we have in default package. Then it is fine, we can access this, right? Now what I'm saying, let's say this is not in default, this is in some, let's say, test package. So you can see these are public um, member of this person class. These are accessible, but to access these variables or these members, what we need is we need person class object to be created first, right? And if you see, the class itself is default. When it is default, we cannot access this class outside another package. Getting my point? So when we say default, default means basically limited to a particular package. Let me just demonstrate this one. So before moving further, let's understand what is a package. I'm creating a new project. We already have for package demo. Package demo I'm taking. Let me close all the files. So I'm creating a class here. Person in default package. Sorry, Control X. Okay. And in the same package, I am creating another class, that is person tester. Okay. So now for this particular problem, you can see we are using public for both of the classes. In this class, we will have main method. Okay. Now I'm saying person p is equals to new person, that is accessible, we can see. And right now we don't have anything in this person class, so let me just quickly create int age string name. As we haven't written anything here with these, so these will be default. I can access them like print p dot age, p dot name, like that I can use. And let me do one more thing. Let me create a constructor here. So we have this constructor, and we need to pass age. Let me take 10, and a name I'm taking some Ankit. Okay. Now if I run it, there is no error. We are able to run it, like we are getting 10 and Ankit. What if these members are private? I'm just making private to age. So you can see with this age we are getting an error. What is that? The field person.age is not visible. That means this variable has limited scope. Make sense? Even let's say this class is not public, there is no error at line 4. We are still able to run it. Okay. Now um, moving these classes into another package. Let me first create two packages. Control N. I'm creating let me call it P1, and I'm creating one more package. Let me call it P2. So person tester is inside P2. Or we can move it inside this package after adding this statement. And person class we want to move in package P1, so we can write it like this. Okay. Now these two classes are in different package. Now you can see the error we are getting itself on person class object. We are not able to call this class. You can see person cannot be resolved to a type. Why? Because this is, first of all, this is not uh, visible. So to make it visible, what we need to do is we need to import p1 dot person. But you can see I'm not getting any option to import it. We want to use a person class from package 1, but we cannot use it until it is not public. Now you can see we are able to get it in different package, but age and name are not visible because they have limited scope. Like this is limited to this particular class. Earlier we were getting like name was accessible outside this class but in the same package. Getting my point? But now we are getting not visible in both of these. Person is not visible, name is not visible. So what we can do is to access we can make it public and public, then only we can use it. So it was a string. Now we will be able to use. You can see there is no issue, but in real time we make the instance variable private. Now if we make them private, then how we will be able to use? We will add some functionality called getters and setters, and you might uh, found accessor and mutators. So basically setters are called mutators and getters are called accessors. So for example, these two are a private member, private and private, then you can see we are not able to get these variables. So what we need to do is we will create setter and getter. So just if we want to access, we can say something like this: public int get age, return this dot age. Okay, now we can write it like get name this dot name. It would be a string here, and instead of calling this, we'll say get name, get age. Using these setter, sorry, getter method, we can able to access private members, but these members are not directly accessible. Make sense?
One question, Anuj. So when
Yes,
we
tell me.
use a getter and setter method, so constructor should be mandatory, right?
Sorry.
When we use the getter and setter methods, So constructor should be there, or we can without constructor we can give the details.
Which constructor you are talking about? The one we have,
Person.
this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, we can remove it, and if we remove it, we know default constructor would be there. Yes or no?
Yes, it's there.
Okay, then how we will set the values? So we'll make setter method like this. So when we say set, we don't really concern about the return, like we will not get anything. We just want to initialize the particular variable like we do in inside a constructor. Inside constructor, what we can do, we can initialize multiple variables. When it comes to a setter, we will be initializing only particular variable. So in this case, we will say this dot age is equals to age, like this. Okay,
Okay.
this dot name is equals to name.
So this
Now
right side age is instance variable, right? In that person class. So
one
this
second, right side one is the local variable, this one. You can see when I am clicking this one, this particular thing is getting highlighted. So that means the variable which will come as an input will initialize into this dot name, means into the initialized variable.
okay.
This one is local variable, this one is instance variable. Okay, and whenever your instance variable and local variable has the same name, then to differentiate between them we need to use this keyword, right?
Yeah. If they are not same, no need of this, right? We can
Then we can,
directly.
let's say this, at this place we have n, we can just say name equal to n, then there is no confusion. Okay, let me just show
Okay,
you.
got it.
For example, if I like it, if I write like this, so you can read one warning we are getting here. The assignment to variable name has no effect, means you are initializing the same value into the same variable,
Okay, got
right?
it. Okay.
So if these are different, then we can do like this. Then there is no need to tell which name we are talking about. Like we can see we have only one name, and if I say open declaration, it will land me on that particular declaration. But the naming convention is itself a tedious process. Like when we are building a software or an application, we need to use, we need to write number of classes, number of methods, number of variables, right? And thinking a single name is itself a tedious process. A meaningful name I'm talking about, like you can say XYZ, then it's very easy to name it. But ideally your name should be meaningful, right? So when we say this dot name and name, so that means we don't really need to take care about the local variable name. We can use a name twice with the help of this to differentiate. And generally in general we use the same practice that we are doing here. Like we will not use like this, and right, we will be using name, and to differentiate we will be using this dot name. Okay, so when works with a package, then sorry, when we are working with packages in Eclipse, then there is nothing like nothing to learn. But like if we want to run our program using command line, then we need to use the two commands that we use, like in the beginning of the session. So let's understand what a package is. What is a package? A package is simply, we can say, a directory or a folder, or we can write it like a directory. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of using it? For grouping of classes. Have you ever tried to keep two files, let's say a b c dot txt, a b c dot txt in same folder? Let me call it new folder. Have you tried this? Two file with same name, can you keep in one folder? Yes or no?
No, no, it won't say.
So it will say create a copy, like rename this one, or otherwise I'll override this one. Similarly, in some cases, what can be there when we are programming? So, so I would add one more point to remove or avoid naming collision. Okay. So, for example, we have created class user. For example, we have integrated some authentication in our application, let's say from Firebase. So Firebase provides user management API, and we have one more class that we are getting from Okta. Okta is another IDP. So these two classes we have. Okay, now we have to differentiate which user we are talking about. Like when we are doing some program, when we will be using these classes, we need to tell which user we are talking about, right? Then there will be a collision. For example, if we talk about Java, so you can see, let me quickly take an example of uh, date class here. So we have a date class inside java.util package, and one we have in java.sql package. Okay, so I have created setter and getter for this particular um, instance variable. What if I need to use another date from SQL package? Private date, let's say date of registration. Okay, for example, but I don't want to use this date from util package. From where I want, like, look at this. When I'm saying date, you can see it is showing we are using a java.util.date, but I don't want to use java.util.date here. I want the date from SQL package. Then we need to write it like this: java dot sql dot date. Now this date is of type this. Getting my point? In very rare cases, you might get a chance to use something like this, but we have to keep these classes together. Like these are the classes Java has written, the util.date and the SQL date. They make two different folder structure or the package structure to keep them separate. Getting my point? To remove any kind of naming collision. Getting this? So package is basically, we can say, a folder or a directory used for grouping of classes. Remove or avoid naming collision. Like for example, we want to keep two classes, two class with the same name, then we cannot take or we cannot put these two classes in same folder. What we can do is we can create two separate folder and we can keep separately. Now whenever we want to use any one of them, we will tell the complete name, like package name, then class name. That is called fully qualified name. When I'm saying like this is basically called fully qualified name. I'm telling this field would be of this type. If I just say date, then what will happen? It will be of date type. Like if I am not writing it like this, so we can say we are getting date from util package. And even we cannot write it like this. Import java dot sql dot date. Why so? Because later on, if I'm writing date dob, date date of registration, then compiler will confuse, like whether this one would be of type SQL date or this one, whether this one would be a type of util date or this one. Ambiguity is there, yes or no? So to avoid these kind of confusion, collision, what Java did, they have introduced the concept of package. You can see the import java.sql date collides with another import statement. Yes, you can remove these two. You want to tell which name, which date to use, you can say use java.util.date in this case. And for this case, what I want is I want java.sql.date. Absolutely fine. Okay, now what happens when we write a package statement? So let's leave it for now. Sorry, java.util.date. So we need to tell which kind of date it is here as well. So I need to write like java.util.date. Here also we need to define java.util.date like this when we want to use both the classes. But let's say if it is not there, then we can add the import statement in the beginning here. And we don't really need to add it further like we were doing earlier. So we can just say date, and also we don't really need to tell the qualified name here. Okay, now you can see we have a statement called package p1 here, and for this what we have is package statement called p2 here. What is the error we are getting? We don't have this constructor right now. So someone asking like, do we need that constructor? So it's up to us, like if we want to keep yes we can, or otherwise we can leave it. So default constructor would be there. Now if I run this one, we'll get null or 0 because we haven't given any value. So we want to set value in p, we have setter method for that. So if I say set age, it will able to set only age. So age will be initialized, you can see it. If I say initialize the name as well, p dot set name. Okay, so it will initialize the name as well, you can see it. Now what is the difference basically when we are saying create package p1 and package p2, what is happening there? Let me just go inside this and show you what exactly is happening. So this is our project we are working on, and you can see inside bin we have two folder, in which in one of the package we have is p1 and we have person dot class inside this, and we have another folder that is p2, and in this folder what we have is tester class. So there are two different folders are getting created. Getting my point? So when we say package and any package name, that means that class would be packed or kept into that particular folder. Now if we have all the files together, then it's very easy to work. But if we have package structure defined, we have separate classes in separate folders, we they want to talk each other, then what we need to do is we need to use this import statement. Like in this program person tester, which is itself in package 2, we want to use person class which is in package p1, then we need to use import statement. Like for example, when we use scanner, when we use scanner, sc is equals to new scanner. So you can see what we are doing, we are adding one import statement, like from where this class will be used, from this package. So except java.lang package, if we are using any other class which is not directly available to the same folder where you are working right now. So for example, you are working inside person tester inside p2 folder, that means this class is not there, this class is also not there, then you need to tell from where to use this class using import statement. Getting my point? Any doubt in this? If you have knowledge of C, then you must have seen has include. stdio.h. Have you seen this?
Yes, Anuj. Actually, these imported classes, when they will be loaded into the JVM at the far beginning,
Sorry?
or
Have you
hello,
seen this kind of a statement include stdio.h? Hello?
hello.
Have you seen this kind of a statement in C language?
Yeah, yeah.
So when we say has include, so what happens? These classes or header files loaded at compilation time, right? But when we say import, when we say import like this will be loaded at runtime. Import works on runtime. one more thing, like you have imported this scanner class, but you are not saying, you are not using it anywhere, then it won't be loaded.
So the dynamic loading concept, right?
Yes, exactly. Let's just demonstrate it if we are able to do it. What I'm doing is, um, so we have bin folder. I'll run it from here. We need to run a class Java, and that is person, sorry, p2.person, person tester, person tester. We are getting the output like what we were supposed to get, but if I say verbose, so let's look if we loaded the scanner class or not. Even we have so I'm saying find it, there is no case matching, like this class is not yet loaded because we haven't used it in our program. Right now, if I clear it once, and I will do one more thing, like I will create an object for this class. Okay, now if I say run it again, and if I look for it again, you can see that particular class has been loaded. Getting my point? So that is called dynamic loading.
This verbose means VI mode only, right? Is this different?
I'm not sure. So basically, when we want the information what is this particular tool is doing in the background, we can use this command.
Oh, okay.
So it's not only loading our class, it's loading all the required classes to run this program. And you can see at the end somewhere our class would be there, like loaded p1.person from this particular package, right?
Yeah, clear, Anuj.
Okay, so this is called dynamic loading. Like if we just say import this, it will not load that particular class because we are not using it. But if we were doing the same thing in C or C++ and we say include stdio.h, so you have seen like in a 5-line or 6-line program, it says n number of line compiled. Let me just try to do it if I can, because I don't have any compiler, C compiler, but let me try to do it here if we can do it. Generally we used to code in Turbo C in our early days. Can you see my screen? So compilation, compile. I cannot see the compile option here. Again, we don't have compile option here. Okay, let it be then. So you got the basic idea of import. If we want to use a class which is, for example, let me just use a general term. This is a folder Can you see my screen, guys? Folder X. In this, we have a class test, and there is one more folder. Let me take folder. So what I mean by folder is a package. Here we have a class person. We want to use this class from folder Y. Then what we need to do is we need to write import Y dot person. So when I write like this, like in this test class, I can use it. But for example, there are number of classes: person 1, person 2. I'm writing y dot person, then I will only able to, sorry, this time I'm writing person 1. So I will be able to access only person 1, not person 2. So if I want to use this as well, I need to write again import y dot person 2. If there are one more person is there, let me say person 3, then we need to write that as well if we want to use. So instead of this, what we can do is we can write import y dot star. So star means all the classes available in this y folder we are going to use. Make sense? So we can use star. Getting my point, guys? Now there might be a different scenario. So for example, uh, this is your folder Y. In this you have Y1, again you have Y2, you have Y3. Yeah, here we have class A, B, and C. Here we have D. Here we have, let's say, E. When we say import Y dot star, that means all the classes which are present here. Let's say here is a class. Let me call it EF dot class, G dot class. So all the classes which are directly placed inside Y folder will be accessible. That means we can use F and G. What about these? These classes won't be accessible when we say Y dot star. So if I want to use these classes, let's say ABC, then what I need to do is we need to write Y dot Y1 dot star. That means I can access all the classes from this folder. Getting my point? So this is how package works. If you have any doubt in this, let me know.
You are saying that when there are subfolders,
Yes,
you
subfolders
need to
can be there.
mention the subfolder name also, right? When you want to use
Yes.
that class.
Yes. So for example,
Otherwise, we
if you
cannot use
want,
that class.
yes, we cannot. Like if I say Y dot star, then means only the classes which are directly placed inside Y folder would be accessible, not the subfolders.
Yeah, okay.
You got it?
Yeah, clear.
Okay.
And
So let me open one chart if we can find it online. Um,
Anuj, I have one question. If subfolder and main folder have same class, so then it will loaded or not?
This is main folder, okay, and this is your subfolder. Here you have a class X, here also you have a class X, okay. Now what is your question?
Yeah, if when we are loading subfolders into main folder, so there is a case with same name, right? Sometimes there is a class name. If
Like
there is a
I'm
class
saying,
name is
so
same.
listen, I'm saying import main dot star, right? I'm saying like this. So that means this X class will be loaded, or let's say their Y class will be loaded. This will not be loaded. Getting my point?
Okay, only main folder classes will be loaded. Subclasses folders will not be.
Yes.
Oh,
For subclasses, you need to write like this: import main dot sub dot star, like this. Getting my point?
yeah, my question is, so when we are importing both folders, so if they have same class name,
Mhm.
in that case, how it will work?
So it will again the same thing, like we need to tell, or we need to specify the complete qualified name. Like you can see, I have imported both the folders, both the packages, util.str and sql.str. Then you can see it is getting confused.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
type date is ambiguous. Then we need to specify like which X we want to use. Let's say we are not using this date class, then there is no issue. But in our program, if we want to use that common class, then we need to tell which class you are talking about, either from main.x, or you want to use main.sub.x. Got it? All right. Okay, so I was looking for a access modifier chart. Yeah. Okay, so this is the chart we have. We have seen private members are accessible within only class. We cannot access them anywhere outside the class. So you can see within package, no. Outside package by subclasses, no. Outside package, no. These are restricted to only inside the class. When it comes to default, so default can be accessible within the same class. Any class within the same package we can access. Like in our program, we have seen when we were saying, when we were having person and person tester in the same folder, then we were able to access that int age and string name, but later on we have to make it public. You remember? So we can say default can be accessible within the class, or any class within the same package we can access. Outside package we cannot access. Outside package we cannot access. So there are two kind of scenarios for outside classes, like a class which is outside, I mean in other package, but it is a child class of a particular class. And a class, there is no relation, there is no child parent relation. Now comes to protected. So protected, within class we can access, within package we can access, outside package by subclass we can access, but we haven't learned inheritance, so I'll keep this one on hold for this particular case. And for outside package we cannot access. Public public is accessible for all the locations like this. Clear? So public is, we can say, widely accessible, and private is the restricted one, restricted to a class. So we can say this is restricted to a single class, then next one is default, restricted to a package, then protected, restricted to a package or a child class, then public is accessible anywhere. Let me know in case you have any doubt. Also note one more thing. For example, if you are declaring a class like we are doing here, so this class can be public or default. Like you can keep it like this. You can write it like this. There is no harm. But if you say private, it will give you an error. What is that? Outer class cannot be cannot make private. You can read the error. Illegal modifier for the class person. Only public, abstract, and final are permitted. Getting my point? So we can have like this. That means the default scope or the default access specifier, or we can just write public. Outer classes can have only public and default access specifier. We cannot make them private or protected, like we have seen this private case. We are getting error, or even I say protected, we are getting error. Same. Okay. But yes, we haven't learned inner classes yet. But for example, this person class has another class, let's say X. We can make it private. Okay, so I'm talking about outer classes. Make a note. Your outer classes can have only public or default access. For default, we don't really need to type or write anything. All right, guys. So this is all about access modifiers. Inside a class, we can use all the 4 scopes. Like for this method, I want to make it private. I can do that. That means this method is no longer available to outside classes. Okay. So any member of a class, what can be the what different members in a class? So there can be, let me write it here. In a class, there can be instance variables, static variables, instance method, static method can be there. There can be constructors, there can be inner classes. So these are the possible members that we can have inside a class. So all these can have these all for access modifiers. Like we can make a private variable, public variable, protected variable. Similarly, we can have private methods, public method, default method. Similarly, constructors, we can have default, public, private, protected. Similar for class, inner class, I'm saying, not the outer one. Okay. All right. That's all about access specifiers. Let me know in case you have any doubt.
There is another concept, right? Like static input. What is that? Static input.
Static import is a concept introduced in Java 5. Uh, exactly what is that? Let me just look over Google because I haven't used it so long. Yes, so that says like if you import classes using static, for example, let me just take a small example here. We have a class called math, right? Dot. We have a function called POW, the power function. So I'm calculating power of 2 by 2. So it will say 4. Right, but for this what I'm doing is I'm saying use this particular power function from this class. If we have something like this, import static java dot length dot star, sorry, not a star dot math. I'm saying, what is the error I'm getting now? Must be a field or what we are missing. 1 second. Import static java dot okay dot star. So we don't really need to tell the name of the class from where this function should be. Like we can use it like this. So this particular function will be looked by the Java itself in this particular class, or what the class we are going to import as a static input. So we don't really need to tell the name of the class from which this function would be called. That is static import. Make sense?
We want this in projects. You didn't use it anyway.
In my case, I haven't used it yet.
Okay. Okay.
So when we say static import, that means it will be available at the loading of the class. Getting my point?
Yeah,
Let
clear.
me just try to prove it if we can. So I'm taking java.util.scanner.star. Okay. I'm not using this, but I'm trying to import it statically. So for this particular problem, I'm not sure like what's gonna be the we are in bin and we need to run it. First of all, we need to clear. If we got a scanner here, that means the class is loaded. No, it's not loaded. So it will be loaded on demand only. Like if okay, so I don't think there is something which is buffer size. So let me just check if we are able to access it or not without the class name. We are not getting it. Okay, I'll do some research on this static import, like where we can use it in our project. what is the practical use basically. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll discuss that tomorrow, like what can be the practical use case of using static import. Anything else except this?